Hello everyone, nubkeks here, and welcome back to Nub Raids. And I'm just sitting here in 2025, right? And we've got games like Godforge coming out soon. And obviously, I work for LHades.com, so I'm hearing all of like the behind the scenes, all the hype about Godforge, getting ready for it, and all of that. Um, but it sort of led me to thinking about Raid and what has Raid done that has made Raid so successful, right? Because, I mean, there's ups and downs with the game, no doubt about it. Nonetheless, here I am, whatever, 5 or 6 years after this game came out. And typically, these gacha games are a bit of a flash in the pan. They're around for a few months, maybe a year, and then they're gone. What is it about Raid that has me and probably many of you still playing so many years later on? Or why are you a new player who's in playing the game so many years later on? That's what I'm going to do in today's video. We'll do some just background random battles as well, just for the fun of it. Ooh, fun. Theodosia. Um, I have 7 different points I'm going to bring up. Maybe Godforge can look at these and copy them. I'm sure they know them already. They probably don't care, but yeah, and I think it's just interesting for you, for me, for all of us to reflect on what has made Raid the success that it is. Let me know what you think. See if you can predict my 7 points. And without any further ado, let's dive in. So, number one, this is something that can't directly be repeated, but it is certainly a big part of, I think, what made Raid very successful and also made games like Genshin Impact so successful, which is quite simply the time that they came out, which was all around lockdown. I think a lot of long-term players for Raid Shadow Legends picked up the game during the COVID-19 lockdowns, right? People were stuck at home, stuck indoors, looking for stuff to do. And along came Raid, a game that you can sink a lot of time into and, get some big rewards. Hey, get really cool champions and stuff and have stuff that's exciting and stuff to look forward to. And it's also, this leads directly into point two as well, which is it's also a very social game in a weird sort of way. We'll come to that in a second for point two, but I think that mattered a lot, right? The lockdown, people having more time for gaming, and this was like a perfect game designed for that. And yeah, I think that's, hopefully we won't have another lockdown or anything like that. But yeah, time it was a big part. It certainly was. Now, let's dive into point number two, which is the social game, which I think it is funny to think of Raid as a social game because, it's not a game that you're directly playing with your friends, right? You're just sort of sitting down and playing it solo. But nonetheless, there's a huge social aspect to it, massively so. I'm a content creator. You're watching a content creator right now. And that for me, 100% is a huge part of what has kept me playing is being a content creator, getting to talk to hundreds, often thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of people in every single video, every single day to chat about this game and having that back and forth, being able to stream and chat back and forth with you guys. That for me has been a huge part. Also for all of you guys who are probably some of the more engaged and hardcore players, definitely the content creation scene, I think it's been a big part of it. When I started out in the game, I remember watching like Ash and Hell Hades and the quality of their videos and their content getting me into it. On top of that, just your discords, chatting to your clans. I think even the smaller thing of, competing against your clanmates. I remember starting out and trying to be like, ooh, I want to build a clan boss team that can beat my clans. Well, it was clan boss at the time, Demon Lord, more accurately nowadays, because there's multiple clan bosses. But back when I started, there was only one clan boss. It was Demon Lord, which is mad to think as well. But yeah, competing against other players. Ooh, can I beat my clan? Yeah, fighting people in tournaments, fighting people in arena, all the rest, and seeing like, these are other players and these are the teams that they have built and how they built their champions. I want to do that. I want to do it better. A big social aspect. Yeah, and just like the leaderboards for dungeons and stuff like that. I think that has really fallen off. Ooh, we might lose this one. This one's pretty nasty. But yeah, it's something that I think has actually fallen off a little bit is, cool teams. Not so much anymore. A lot of them are just one-shot stuff with Siegfried, one-shot the dungeons with Marius, not half as interesting. Rip our team. We salute our noble sacrifice. Just Calvalax, really. Nothing to do with the mythical. Perhaps Calvalax just killed my team there. But yeah, socially, I think there's a lot of social stuff going on. You may not be talking to people directly, but you know that there are loads of other people playing. You're seeing them doing stuff. Like even during summon events, you're seeing the shards pop up. Like I can go into the global chat and I can find lots of thoroughly reliable and definitely not like scam links here. Right, that are totally safe to click and to put into your browser. I'm sure nothing bad could possibly happen. All of that. There's just players, lots of players playing this game. Number three, tying into that, and something that also ends up being, I think, fairly social, shard events. And I think this is really important as I think all of these are really important, but these are the first four here are maybe like the big ones that really hook you. The timing of the game, that was sort of a limited time thing, but I think that the social aspects of the game, the shard events, and the next point I'm going to bring up, which ties into shard events as well, they really hook people in. I think this is very important rather than, and it's a problem with relics at the moment, actually, and I think it's something that's going to change with relics. They've even teased that they are going to improve the relic system. But with shards, it's not like, oh, I get a shard, I just pull it whenever, and I'm disappointed. It's, I save up loads of shards, wait for a big 2x event, and I pull it in the 2x event, and then I'm disappointed. But it's different. It's slightly different than that, because seeing as you're pulling so many shards at once, there's a much better chance that you actually do get something. And even if it's not the thing you want, at least there's a chance that I saved up my shards, I waited for this event, and I got something. I got something out of it. And even if I didn't, there's still that social aspect as well. Or even if I did, even more so, I can be like, yo, clan, check it out. Guess what? I saw it like last weekend or whatever. Yo, guys, I just pulled freaking Leonardo. I didn't, but someone in my clan was like, look, I pulled Leonardo. And then everyone in the clan's like, oh my God, I pulled this and I pulled this. And whoa, I'm so jealous of what you got and all the rest. And I think the shard pulling, instead of being just pull your shards whenever, and anytime you get a shard, just pull it straight away and go. Instead, there being such a big focus on the 2x events or pulling during a fusion, and knowing that loads of other players are pulling at the same time, getting to talk to people, share the hype, share that moment, I think that's actually huge for Raid and definitely sets it apart. And I've seen this in many other games, gacha games, that they don't have these shard events. You just sort of pull whenever. And there isn't that level of hype. So I think that's something that Raid honestly stumbled into that's worked incredibly well. I think they have a similar sort of thing now with Souls, where they've got the 2x event for Souls. And it's not as exciting as Shards, but it's okay. And it's something that's missing with Relics, interestingly enough. So it's interesting that they haven't put that in too much. But yeah, I think it's also a criticism. I think, funny enough, this will be a theme for several of my points here today as well. I think the features of Raid, such as wait for shard events to pull your shards, because it sort of condenses the excitement and makes it a big event that is just more impactful than the sum of its parts, shall we say. The biggest design choices that have made Raid succeed are also some of its biggest criticisms. I mean, anyone heard people say, just wait Shadow Legends? We're playing wait Shadow Legends, anyone? Yeah. The idea that, well, you get your cool resources, but you just have to wait for the ideal moment to pull them. Like, you just can't pull them when you want. It's gotta wait for the event to do it. It's 100%. It's definitely a criticism. I think it's a huge strength for Raid. It's also, in a way, a weakness. But I think it's done more bad than good. But again, it's something that you'll see people often criticize about the game. So yeah, I think a lot of these things can be double-edged swords. And that's one of them. So yeah, shard events, I think, big. Number 4, which ties in very much to this, and again, the double-edged sword of something that is probably one of the most common complaints you'll see about the game, especially from newer players, right? And it will make a lot of people quit the game just straight away. But it's the champion scarcity. In other words, how hard it is to get the champions that you want. Very hard. Really hard. Is it too hard? Quite possibly. That being said, again, I think it's a double-edged sword. It's obviously something that, I'm sure if you went and looked on the Reddit or looked on YouTube videos or whatever, you find people, it would not take you long. It'd be one of the quickest things you could find people giving out about. But at the same time, I think it's also been a huge part of Raid's success that when you eventually do get that cool champion. So for I think a great example for me, Sifi. When I finally got Sifi, after a few years of playing the game, it was like probably 3.5 years, I think I played the game before I got Sifi. When I got Sifi, it was like, holy shit, I just got Sifi. This is insane. Stupidly hard to get, right? Imagine playing a game for like over 3 years to get this champion. But when you do get them, because you know how difficult it was to get them, it's a really exciting thing. Mythicals, I think definitely too difficult to get, for sure. I agree on that one. But when you do get a mythical, it's something really exciting. It's just a general design decision. And I've played lots of other gacha games where you are showered in legendaries, and it's super fun at the start. It's an amazing first impression. And then you get bored and you move on. Whereas I think with Raid, I think it's a big part of what has made this last for some of us for so long. Like I said, I think a lot of new players though will jump in and go, man, I just can't get any legendaries. I can't do it. I quit. I'm done. I'm gone. Goodbye. Thanks. See ya. I'm sure that loads of players bounce off because of this. I'm sure it turns loads of people away. Pretty much at the front door, they turn away because of how difficult it is to get champions, how difficult it is to get shards. But it does add to the longevity. It makes champions really exciting to pull, really exciting to get, things to chase, and yeah, it makes it a proper hype moment. So I think it's the ultimate double-edged sword in Raid's design, actually. But yeah, champion scarcity, number 4. I think there's no question that making champions as stupidly hard to get as they are is what has let Raid survive for like over 5 years at this point. The final 3 things then are, I think, not as major. They're not as spicy, but they still have a really big impact. So number 5 is simple enough. And this is a terrible time. We talked about good timing being point number 1. This is a terrible time to make this point, but regular content, I think, has been a massive part of what has made Raid successful. That every few months, there will be a big content drop, and that all those really difficult champions that you've been trying to get during those big shard events and playing Wait Shadow Legends to finally get something cool, that they will actually make a difference for you because there's going to be some new, really difficult content that those champions will shine in coming soon in the near future. I say it's a terrible time. We were talking about this on my CVC stream. The last What's Next in Raid video was like 5 months ago, and we've got everything from it. So we're kind of sitting here at the moment. We've been teased a few things. Like we've been teased the new, I think it's Atlantean, looks to me to be the theme of it. They said like Greco-Roman. I got a real Atlantis vibe when I was reflecting on it. The interview I did with Boozor, with Banana Jam from Plarium. Looks like Atlantis is the final faction, something like that along those lines, Greco-Roman. That's coming start of 2026. We know that there's new content with potentially like 6 or 7 new bosses or something like that coming at the end of the year. So we've had some vague teasers, but nothing too substantial. Nothing like in a What's Next video. And September, October is usually like a real low point for Raid every single year. And then November comes and, oh, we're actually teased for this stuff. And, oh, there's a bunch of stuff for end of November and for December and even in January. That's where like a lot of the hype stuff happens. Always the biggest content drop, like a new clan boss, Doom Tower, Curse City, whatever. That's basically always in like December. November, December. Usually December, actually. So, yeah, this point of the year is really bad. But nonetheless, you know, I can sit here and be like, why am I collecting these champions? Why am I doing this stuff? Oh, there's going to be like a ton of new stuff in a few months, right? And that's cool. I'm waiting for that. And yeah, I might be kind of bored in the game right now, but there's some really cool stuff coming in the future. It was a problem. It was one of the reasons I quit Etheria Restart, actually. I love that gacha game for about, it was the anime gacha game, came out this year. I loved it for about a little under a month, like probably about a month I played it. Loved it, really enjoyed it. And then I got bored. I said, is there any new content coming? It doesn't seem like there's anything much coming. Why would I be grinding these heroes? Like now I'm in the boring day-to-day grind. I've progressed through the game. I've fought all the boss. I've seen everything that's new and exciting. Now I'm in just the drudgery, just the grind. Number one, like I'm not really waiting for any major events. There's no real content. Like, why am I even doing this? And then I got bored and I quit. I said, there's just not going to be enough new stuff to keep me interested. I think Raid, honestly, I've done a great job over the years. I would love more, but I'm a content creator for this game. I covered a lot, but they put out a lot of stuff from hard mode dungeons and new dungeons, the event dungeons as well. Faction Wars Hard, that's a controversial one. Live Arena, probably pretty controversial. A lot of the stuff is controversial. A lot of it is, let's be honest, hit or miss. It could be better, but there's no doubt that they've put out, again, new clan bosses, Siege, Cursed City, whatever. They've put out a lot of new stuff. It is a bit hit or miss, but it's the quality can sometimes be a little dodgy, but there's no doubt that they put out a good quantity of new stuff on a fairly regular basis. I think that is really important. In fact, from chatting to the actual developers before, it's something that they focus on specifically. So I guess they agree with, I don't know if they agree with my reasoning exactly, but I'm guessing it'd probably be something similar. But they have said that, content is king. There must always be new stuff coming out, like new champions, new content for players to do, events for people to do in game. If there isn't stuff for people to do and to look forward to, the game would just die, right? If there isn't new cool stuff coming soon, TM. So yeah, that I think is huge. Another thing, great graphics. Just the visuals. If we look at some of the newer champions, just for like the newer, more up-to-date stuff, right? Like visually incredible. And like there are some champions that were visually incredible a few years ago. They don't look quite so good compared to the newer ones now. But I mean, like, I think one good way for me to put this would be if we look at the turtles, right? The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Right, the design for the characters for the TV show that I watched back in the day, right? The old cartoon. They were way more simple than this. And that was it. That was like the entire cartoon. And that was and like I was just, love that cartoon for years as a kid. No problem. Raid has to constantly be pumping out these super detailed characters and models all the time. And I think they do an amazing job, not just on the characters, but like the bosses and stuff like that look super cool. Like I think Phantom Shogun is like a super visually cool boss. Like it looks freaking awesome. So yeah, like just sick looking champs, right? There's constantly going to be champions every month or so. You're going to be like, oh my God, have you seen this new champ? They look freaking cool. So that's a huge thing. So yeah, graphics super important. And then finally, point number 7, my final point. And let me know if you predicted my points correctly so far. Let me know what you think. But I think another massive part of Raid's success and continued success has been, let's be honest, an absolutely ludicrous advertising budget. Like, oh my God. Who's seen a Raid Shadow Legends ad? Hey, anybody? Anyone see? Yeah. Okay. Everyone has seen Raid Shadow Legends ads. They pump them out like crazy. That's how I got into the game, actually. I probably had seen the ads, but not paid much attention. But I got into the game because I was covering World of Warcraft at the time, and I got paid to do a sponsored video for Raid Shadow Legends, and then I just enjoyed it, and I stuck with it. Well, I think I was sponsored for 2 or 3 months, and then I enjoyed it, and I stuck with it. So yeah, there you go. A lot of players, and that's the case for a few different content creators. I've talked to several that got into it because they were basically sponsored to play the game. And you've got, I mean, it's just a huge marketing budget. All of the ads, it's a meme for a reason as well, right? It's like, wait, Shadow Legends. Yeah, it's a meme. It's a double-edged sword. I think the ad budget for Raid and all the ads being spammed, people that don't play the game, they go, oh, freaking Raid Shadow Legends, another ad for Raid Shadow Legends. This video is sponsored by Raid. It's a meme. So it's double-edged. There's a big negative and there's also a huge positive. And I think it has contributed massively to the game's success. I mean, you've got a lot of like basically marketing content creators now as well, where they actually just pay content creators directly to play and do the game. It's sort of like the next step from how I got into it, which is being a content creator for another game and doing a little integration. You see that some of our videos, like they pay content creators just to have whole channels covering the game now and stuff like that. And I'm sure you're going to see that with loads of other games if it's not happening already. It's just going to happen more and more and all the rest. But like, so much money and effort into getting new players to just install the game and give it a go, and bam, there you go. So those are my 7 points, my 7 reasons that Raid has been the massive success that it has been. Timing for when it came out with lockdown, helping it get that initial sort of foot in the door and get just a good solid player base at the start. Number 2, the actually massively social aspect of the game for a game that doesn't require you to, like, you know, like there's some games like you need to sit down with friends like there to play, right? Otherwise it doesn't really work. There's some games that are purely multiplayer. Raid is like a super social game that you don't need any friends to play in a weird sort of way. So it's like, yeah, the modern man socializing in like a weird pseudo social way. Shard events, creating like just sort of more hype moments within the game. Wait, Shadow Legends, it's a negative, but it's also a positive at the same time. Champion scarcity, again, double-edged sword, but not only is it negative, it's had big positives. Regular content updates, just a really good visual presentation and just cool characters that you want to get and collect. And yeah, then a massive ad budget as well. Those are the big things for me. Let me know what you think. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Did you predict my reasons correctly? Do you have any different ones? I'm sure I've missed some. So do let me know in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.